Yes.
Yeah. So somehow, can someone try to, what is it? No, I don't have. Can someone try to tell us, so try to describe to us or define to us what is meant by hardware and why it is called hardware? Okay, let us do this. If you're using a laptop, in your lower left-hand corner, there is a microphone which has a cross. And then also when you click on participants, your name will be the topmost name. If you want to say something,
I am muted.
Okay, so I'm saying that you unmute yourself when you have something to say, but after raising your hand, okay? So my question was, can someone try to define to us what hardware is, the meaning of hardware, and why probably it is called hardware? Okay, Shifa, Form 1 East.
Hardware. Hardware, these are the physical parts of a computer, like the keyboard, a mouse, system unit, so on.
Okay, so those are the physical components of a computer, such as a keyboard, yes, a mouse, and others that are connected. Some are inside the system unit, and others are connected outside the system unit, right? So all those devices, ICT devices that we can connect to the computer, and those inside the computer but are tangible, are the ones referred to as hardware, devices, hardware components. So having got that definition, we have many functions or operations a computer does for us. And because of those, we categorize the hardware of those, the hardwares that are connected to the computers according to what they do. I wouldn't like to mention those. I'd like you people to tell me some of those functions that are performed by the hardware categories that we have. Probably begin with the functions. Can someone mention those functions? Can I say, Najinda Mason, do you have an idea of those? Please unmute and tell us.
Yes, a mouse is used to move the cursor on a computer.
Before the function of a particular hardware, let us have the categories, because a mouse may be moving the cursor on the screen, but it is in a certain category of hardware, computer hardware. To give you an example, one is input category. What other function or category? We have the input as number one. Nabufu, do you have an idea?
Yes, teacher. Output.
Output. And another one.
Storage.
Can I have Karunji? I beg your pardon? Karunji.
Storage.
Storage. Another one. Those are three. There is one important function you are skipping. Should be number two. Try. Another one. Can I have Angela Nganzi? Angela Nganzi, do you have an idea?
Processing devices.
The processing devices, okay? Processing function. And you can have another one, which is not always mentioned. Probably you may not know that, and that is communication, because right now, that's what we are using. We are using communication function of a computer system. All right, so in input category, what hardware can you mention that we have there? Hardware devices that we have there, or components? Can I have Shifa? I see a few hands up. Shifa, can you mention some of the hardware find in input category? Shifa, unmute.
Computer.
Yeah,
A computer.
computer?
Yes.
Okay, Karunji,
Keyboard.
the keyboard, that is the main input hardware of a computer. We enter text in the computer through the keyboard, and you directly enter text in the computer through the keyboard. Shifra Kayongo, what is?
A mouse.
Shifra Kayongo, what is can we mention here in this first category? Shifra, unmute. Okay, Marilyn. Or
A
Winnie?
mouse.
Yes,
Winnie.
mouse.
Yeah.
Mouse. What is?
A touchpad.
Okay, if I may ask. I beg your pardon? Touchpad.
Yeah, a touchpad.
The touchpad.
Yeah.
Where do we find this touchpad? Is it a common thing, or do you buy it and connect it to your computer?
Yeah, I guess so.
Buy it and connect to your computer?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so do you have a laptop there? Okay, if you don't have, what do you use to move a cursor on a laptop?
A touchpad.
A touchpad. So do you buy and connect it to the computer?
No, it's found.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends.
So depends on what? All right. So let me ask you this question. If you have a still photo and you want to, store it on your computer, what device do you use to, save your photo on a computer? Someone, Najinda? Nicole, okay, let us hear from Nicole. Nicole, what do you use?
A flash.
You have your still photo and you want it on your computer. How do you?
Like, where do you have it?
Is it virtual or is it a physical photo? So that we start from the whole process.
Where do you have it? On a
Yeah, where exactly?
phone, on an iPad?
in a flash, hard drive, something, anything.
Teacher. Is it
Hello?
just me or you guys too?
Even me.
Could someone please tell me the question?
Teacher asked
We're
like
looking
if
at
we wanted.
input.
He
Oh,
said
yeah,
that
if we wanted to put
wanted
a
a photo.
photo on the laptop or on our computer, which device do we use?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, let us talk of a scanner. We use a scanner. You usually have a scanner. These days, you can scan using your phone, and then you transfer the photo to the computer. But we have scanners. Before we really go further, I don't know whether you are able to see me. Are you able to see me? Yeah,
Yes,
I took the, okay. So if you are able to look at this, I have a scanner here. At this computer, you are not seeing the picture. I don't know, the camera is refusing to do this. Give me a moment, people.
Okay, teacher.
Yes, Marion.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Oh, we can continue. We can continue as I prepare this one because it is kind of disturbing. I want to share with you my screen and then look at these things.
I have another one.
Yeah.
A webcam.
Another question, Maureen?
No, I was just giving another example of the inputs. Webcam.
Other examples of input we have voice
Teacher, is a microphone
recognition.
correct? A microphone, is it correct?
We have microphone is an input, yes. Inputs audio.
Yeah, okay. A
And then
webcam.
speakers output audio.
Teacher,
A
for
webcam
example,
inputs video.
Teacher, for example, when you get an adapter and you connect it to your phone and laptop, it will bring, do you accept this gadget to access your files? And then it asks you if you want to snag photos, videos, or anything else.
Yes.
It's also a USB. For example, if you connect the
That's
USB
the
to a
one I'm saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it is giving you options to choose.
Yeah.
Yes, and that, like for example, if
Yeah,
you connect it on the iPad, it comes.
Universal Studio Bus.
Sometimes you can use Bluetooth as well.
Universal Studio Bus. That is the system you use to connect. And if you have a cable, for example, yeah, you can use Bluetooth as a form of communication, okay? And then through that communication, you can transfer your files. But we are not going to call that input. We are going to put that in the category of communication, okay? So the physical devices that we use to transfer photos from one computer to another, are the ones that you are trying to look at, okay? So let me share the screen and then we continue.
Good boy.
I hope you are able to see.
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Able to see the screen? Okay.
Yes.
So in our chapter, computer hardware and system startup, we have some few keywords. One of them is hardware, device, booting, and peripheral, okay? And you assume that by the end of this chapter, you have learned, you have known the physical devices were computers. Yes? Okay, Shiba, Najinda, do you have something to say?
No, teacher, sorry, I
Najinda,
forgot my hand up.
you forgot to put down your hand. And at our patience, anything to say?
Yes, teacher. Can also a central processing unit be part of hardware?
It is a hardware. It's the brain of a computer. Central processing unit. Without it, you don't have a computer, okay? So it is under processing category, that category number 2 processing. That's where you find the processor and other components inside the system unit, like the motherboard and so on, including the memory, okay? So we are talking about what you are supposed to know at the end of the lesson, and we said that you have the knowledge about physical components of a computer, those ones inside the system unit, and those ones connected to the computer, then be able to assemble a computer system. The assembly we are talking about is connecting the peripherals on the system unit to make the system, the computer system complete. We will not be assembling those internal devices, but remember when you go to buy a computer, every part that is connected to be separate and put in its own box, that when you get home, you then open the boxes, assemble the parts together using a manual. If it's not there, you can always find a way, or you can ask for guidance and then assemble the system. The system will be complete when you're also included, because the computer will not be working unless you, the user, use it. And then we'll have to know the safety start and shutdown of computer. You know, some people just switch on and then click the switch off button and then shut down the computer without allowing it to go through the right processes. Then the use of computer peripheral tools. I wonder whether you understand the term peripheral. Can someone try to explain to us what peripheral means? Can I ask Gloria Nachimera? Gloria, what are peripheral devices? Unmute and tell us, please.
Sorry, teacher, I left my hand up by mistake.
Yes? I beg your pardon? Or you forgot your hand up, but you can still try. You can still try. Okay, someone else, can someone else try to define that?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, what are peripheral devices?
A peripheral device is a device that is connected to a computer and works with a computer in the same way. For example, a mouse,
Okay. Uh-huh.
an image scanner, and sometimes microphones, sometimes loudspeakers, webcams, such.
Yes. Okay. In short, all the devices that are connected on the outside of the system unit are peripheral devices. They can be the common ones that we have, like the mouse, keyboard, and the printer. And then others, as you may need to use them. For example, you may have a radio, Bluetooth radio. If your computer has no Bluetooth, you can have a radio for that and connect to your computer. If you have an external hard disk, you can connect to your computer. All those devices that connect to the computer are peripheral devices. So we are going to learn about physical parts of a computer and their uses, how the parts are assembled to make a complete system, then internal or the inside components in the computer, and then those ones connected to the computer. Then also need to know that even if Dell is manufactured by Dell, Dell may not be the same company that manufactures the keyboards or some other internal components. So there is that kind of specialization that some companies provide the boxes, we call the computer, the system case, and then others provide the motherboard, and then when they assemble, they make one complete system. And if you look at that, when you look at that picture there, are you able to see the picture? Now that gives us, all right, I don't want to take over. What do you see in the picture? People, what do you see in the picture?
I check keyboard.
Examples of computer hardware.
There is a basic mouse, a keyboard, monitor, and
Let us
also
have one person. Let us have one person speaking. Let us have one person speaking. So the one who was speaking was, I see, Kunda Rolita.
Teacher,
Kunda Rolita, what were you saying?
I see a printer, monitor, base unit, a keyboard, speakers, and mouse. That's all I see.
You see a monitor? Yes. Okay, they are labeled. They are labeled. What's the
Lord help us. Somebody showing the code.
You guys, your lesson is being recorded.
There is some hand behind.
Where is teacher?
So I was wondering if you know the purpose, the function of a printer in a computer system.
COVID-19.
What's the purpose of a printer?
To print important documents.
To print important documents. Under what category do we have this?
I think an output.
Out. Okay.
Yes.
It is under output.
Every day is not on.
Yeah, I'm trying. Since we went off, I have to ask the host to reconnect. I'm going to do that. Okay, so what is this? We also saw a monitor. We saw the monitor.
Yes, teacher.
And what is the purpose of a monitor? Someone? What's the purpose of a monitor?
A monitor is connected to the keyboard to enable us to see what we're doing on a computer.
I think a monitor is the screen of.
Yeah, it is the screen of the computer. And
Isn't it the one connected to the keyboard, enabling us
if you
to see
relate
what
the
we're
word
doing?
monitor and what the computer does inside, what do you think the purpose of the monitor is?
Enables us to see.
Yeah, it enables us to access the documents on the computer.
It
Yeah.
displays monitor is used to display.
Just to
images.
display information we're typing.
It enables us to display information. Or
Is display information, because it is also called a display unit, okay?
Yes.
So I'm trying to drive you to the category of that. What do you think is the category of the monitor? Under which category?
Output.
Output. So a monitor is an output. So we have the keyboard, we have the printer as an output device, Mr. Namdala. I cannot display, I cannot connect the video. I cannot share, I cannot connect the kubanga tuvuddeko. Navuddeko bintu byavuddeko.
Both the monitor and keyboard are output devices.
Okay.
Even the speakers.
And the impact printers.
Okay, girls, I can continue as I prepare, but I'm going to go off for a moment and then sign in again, because there is someone inside here.
Excuse me. What did
You
teacher
can
ask?
ask a question if you have, as I prepare to sign in again. Okay, my question was, I want you to think of this as I sign out and sign in again. We have a printer as an output device, and then we have the monitor as also an output device, okay? What kind of output does a printer give us, and then what kind of output does a monitor give us? Think of that. When I get back, you give me the answers, okay? The printer gives us an output, is an output device, and then the monitor is also an output device, all right? So the outputs are different. So I want to know those two different outputs given to us by the two devices.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
Okay, so think of that as I sign in.
You guys, what is the difference between output and input?
An output, it like brings stuff out of the computer. Whereas an input, it like puts stuff into the computer. For example, inputs like keyboards, like when you're typing, you're putting data into the computer. Something like a mouse, touch pads, microphones, you're putting your voice into it, a webcam. Sometimes you can take photos and also videos.
USB
An output
is also like,
it's like you're letting stuff out of the computer. For example, a monitor, then a speaker letting out the voice.
In simple terms, an output is the one which gives out, and then the input is the one which puts in or gives in. That's what it is.
Thank you.
Are we giving examples of outputs and inputs? Yeah, we have been writing some. For inputs, we have the CPU, we have a mouse, a keyboard, and a mouse.
No, a CPU is not an input. A CPU is a processing.
CPU is in processing.
It's in processing.
Then outputs, we have printers, speakers, and a monitor.
Yeah, nice.
Output.
Before teacher asked about
yes,
it is in processing apart from the CPU.
Motherboard.
So everything teacher showed on the screen sharing, all of those were in output.
No, those ones are the different. Those ones are the different.
Some were input, others were output.
Those are the different features of the output.
Is an output.
For you to is that output and.
Okay, what did you give us the use of keyboard?
The use of what?
A keyboard.
A keyboard like puts stuff inside the computer, so it's considered an input. They have not given us a specific use yet, but then it's an input.
People, where are we?
We are an input, we are an output devices, and teacher has left us with a question. What it was what kind of
input and
has left us with a question, what kind of material does
my son?
Yes, please. Yes.
Is a print an input or an output?
Who? Who is asking?
A printer.
A printer is an output.
But people, I have this suggestion that a keyboard is both output and input, because when you're trying to put information into something, you use a keyboard, and when you want to get it out, you use a keyboard. So I think it's both.
What about what was the use that you gave?
Maybe we will ask teacher.
What was the question?
Okay, so thank you for your discussion. Now, can I have someone, Ninsima Natalie, S1C, could you please tell us the kind of output a printer gives us? Natalie, unmute.
Yeah.
Yes.
So output devices, we have the speakers, the computer speakers. We have the monitor. We have headphones.
Headphone, yes. Yeah, but we are particularly talking about the printer and the monitor. They both give us some kind of output of the same kind of information we want. For example, if I wrote a letter, a printer is going to give me a form of output of that letter, and then a monitor is also going to give me a form of output of that same letter. So what kind of output do I have on a printer as compared to what we have on a monitor? That was the question. Yeah? Yes. Have you come with something? Not yet. All right, so let us make it an assignment, find out. But you base, yeah?
May I give what I think is the answer?
Yes.
A printer gives us an output, like a hard copy, whereas a monitor gives us a soft copy. A hard copy you can touch.
That's what I wanted.
Yes, whereas a monitor you cannot touch it. The copy of your monitor, you cannot touch it.
Yeah, so we can see what is on the computer. It is in a soft form. Soft meaning that we cannot touch it. We can only view it. And we store that in a computer in a form that have a hard copy that is tangible, like this paper. If you're able to see this paper, this is a hard copy. But the one stored on my phone, I can't touch it. I can only view it on a screen and then store it or delete it. This one, in order to discard it, I crumple the paper and put it in fire if I don't want people to see it, and then burn it. But that's what I meant, that a printer gives us a hard copy, which is tangible, and then a monitor gives us a soft copy. Someone was talking of headphones and speakers. We also get some kind of soft copy, but still not tangible. That is audio, form of audio that a speaker or headphones or earphones that give us. Those are also soft copy. You cannot touch sound. You can't touch sound, but you can touch the speaker. The speaker will be empty without, being connected to the gadget that gives us, which stores the sound. So a printer and a monitor give us the same kind of information, but in two different ways. One is soft and another one is hard. Anything stored on a computer is in a soft form, and anything that is printed out is in a hard form. So let us go back to our screen that we had shared before we went off. And I believe few people are able to see. We go back to where we are. So we were here. We have the printer, we have the monitor, we have the base unit. Base unit is another name, but you can have as a system unit or a system case on the outside. And inside the system unit, we have the internal computer components. And now on the outside, you see the printer, you see the monitor, you see the keyboard, the mouse, and speakers as peripheral devices connected to the system unit. The system unit will continue to work even if it has no monitor. As long as you don't want to sit on that system, it will continue to work. For example, if you're connected to the network and you use this computer as a server, people sit on different stations and access this computer even if it has no monitor, okay? So the monitoring is done from the terminals connected to it. Now, having looked at this one makes the computer system kind of complete computer system, minus you, the user, because you are the human where he's the user of the computer. You have two types of users. You have the professionals, those ones who manufacture and write programs, and then we have you, the end user, who uses computers for different purposes. Now, behind me here, I don't know whether you'll be able to see it in here. We have our own computers here. and we tried to set them up the way this one on the screen is. And we have a printer, and this printer here, I don't know whether you're able to see, it is similar to this printer here, which is also a scanner. It can be used as a printer as well as a scanner. You may not need to buy a scanner separately and then a printer or a photocopier. You have a small office, then you can have this one a machine that's going to all of them for you something for. Otherwise, this one may be a very, very small or weak printer. If your work you're going to do is going to use the gadget for before you buy it. The same with the computer. You need to also know what you're going to use the computer for before you buy the computer. So this is our system, that computer system that we always have in our offices, in the classrooms, and so on. And assembling them requires some small skills, some little skill, because everything behind the that carry the data from these peripheral devices to the central processing unit, and then to the computer to do a readout. So from your keyboard and then the printer print. All those okay, girls, my system here somehow disturbs. Can you activate video? Okay, so people, I want you to discuss that system is, and then we continue. Okay, so this picture, are you able to see the picture? Okay. I think someone is something. Someone, whoever has not muted, please unmute. Whoever has not muted, please unmute. Some echo from somewhere. So what we are talking about here, the components that you may have in a computer room that can be connected to the computer, okay? We mentioned the printer, we have the printer here. We can connect the camera and then the portable media player. Some people are fond of music, that wherever they go with their media player gadgets. Then we have the monitor, we have keyboards, we have the microphones. We are hearing each other because of the microphone. And then you can also have the digital cameras. We can have, we are now using the webcam, and then the routers that, or modems that enable us to connect to the internet. We have the flash disks. and so many others. So these make up the system. Some may be absent, others may be present, depending on what you are going to use the computer for. Yes, they're mixed. Okay, so having looked at this, we are now going to define what hardware is. We said the tangible parts that you can touch and feel, such as the monitor, keyboard, mouse, disk, drives, printer, scanner, speakers, are collectively referred to as hardware. The opposite of hardware is software, which refers to the instructions or programs that tell the hardware what to do. And software is intelligible. So when someone was talking about physical. So we are looking at these physical parts basically. We shall look at software later, but you remember a computer cannot be complete when there is no software to be used or to run the hardware. Commands are given by software and then the hardware operates, okay? So we cannot use a computer unless we have the instructions that can make it work, or the instructions that tell the computer. Now, how do you compare the human body with the computer system? Someone, I want you to try out this. How is two things, you and me, and then the machine. What do we have in common that you can tell us? Yes. Unmute. Okay, go ahead.
The computer stores information for a long period of time, as well as a man, whereby the computer uses its software, a human being uses its brain.
So in short, if you are talking about hardware, what is hardware on human beings and what is software on human beings? That's what I want you to tell us. Of course, we store information in our memory, just like the computer does. But what?
Also,
Someone else can try. Can someone else try?
Teacher, can I try?
Yes.
The hardware, the things that you can touch, meaning on our body, we can.
Okay.
Yes. Teacher, you can hear me. Yeah. Excuse me, teacher.
Okay, our body is the hardware. We have the hands, we have the feet, we have the tongue. We can speak, but you cannot see the words that we speak. That is software. We have ideas in our brains. We cannot see the ideas unless we air them out. We have, many people have, you have wisdom. Let me assume that you have wisdom. You have wisdom, you have knowledge, you have everything.
Even the feelings, you can't
Unless
see
you
them.
bring them out, no one will see them.
When you
So as long as you know some of that, right? When? Yes, you have an idea, young man?
Yes,
an
teacher.
idea?
Another board.
Okay, someone can add on. Kalema S near 1C. Unmute and tell us, what do you think? What do you think?
A motherboard is like the brain,
while
while the
Excuse me, teacher.
hello.
I have an idea.
Go ahead.
The CPU.
A CPU.
It's
Central
like
processing unit.
Yeah, it's like the brain of. It's like the CPU is compared to the brain of the body in a way, because
Is that CPU a hardware or a software?
The CPU is what?
Is it a hardware or software?
The software.
Okay. So all those ideas, the knowledge you have, things that you remember, probably those ones you have forgotten because you can at another time remember them. Those are the soft parts of you that you can air out, like using your mouse as a speaker, and then using your eyes as a monitor, and then your ears, and so on. So your body becomes the hardware, and those ideas become the software. No, you may say that a brain is also part of the software, but a brain is tangible. You can touch the brain, yet you cannot see what is stored in the brain unless the owner of the brain starts to tell you what they have in their brain. So we have an activity here, which I want you to think of. Probably we discuss it together.
How do we phrase the answer?
I beg your pardon?
Like how do we phrase the answer?
I want to hear from you. How do you phrase that
How do you
answer?
like bring it out?
I want to hear from you. You are supposed to give me the answer and phrase it the way you feel, because there is no common way we can phrase those answers. I see 178, 77 people. We have different ways about things, okay?
Yes.
So phrase the answer the way you feel is right, and then you share it with your friends, and then probably when you can come up with a common answer together, okay?
Okay.
All right, so activity 201, if you have the ICT prototype, that is the first activity you have, but if you don't have, I got it for you here, okay? Activity, parts of a computer. Discuss and identify whether use of each of the devices labeled in figure 2.1 is an input, output, storage, communication, or processing device, and summarize your findings in the table. The table is down, as you can see it. I gave you an example of mouse and then its category. And so we go up and look at this figure. This is the figure you're talking about, figure 2.1. And then you can draw the table. Each of you can draw the table. And then afterwards, we get some people who will tell us what they have done, and probably continue that. Let's try to find out these and then put them in the right categories, okay? You have about, you have about 5 minutes to do that. Draw the tables in your book and then try to answer the question.
Teacher, may you please first put the question again?
The table. That is the table. The question. Okay, can you write that? Write it down. Write the question down. Then look at the table, draw the table. Then I'll take you back to the picture and the question in the table. Then we go back to the picture. You can discuss among yourselves. And the problem is echo. Echo, if you all unmute, you have a lot of echo. Just the table now. Have you down?
No, you're still writing it down.
Just writing it down? Yeah, be fast, be fast. Time is run. Can we move on? Okay, back to the table. That is the table. We have column 1 is label, column 2 is name of device, and then column 3 is category. Make a simple table. So can I move on to the picture? Yes.
Could you please take back to the slide that has the activity?
Has that one?
Question.
Yes. Okay. Discuss and identify whether use of whether use of each of the devices labeled in figure 1 is input, output, storage, communication, or processing device. And summarize your findings in the table. Okay, so can we move to the table? The table. Okay. So can you move on to the figure?
Yes.
No.
No? The table is easier. Make 3 columns, then make, I have here 8 rows, and then we have label, name of device, and then category. Okay, let us go to the
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
We have talked about the keyboard as an input, but when we're typing in, it's an input. When you're deleting, like it helps you also to delete. Isn't it an output and an input?
Deleting is not an output. It is also an input. When you delete a text, you're not outputting, because outputting means we are able to use what we have, But erasing or deleting is editing text. We call it editing text. You remove what you don't want in your text and probably put something else, okay? Like changing a word or adding a word, okay? So input is not the same as, deleting is not the same as output.
Thank you, teacher, because I was confused.
Okay, so
mouse, keyboard, monitor,
how 3 minutes?
Printer, what summer?
What is the question? Someone was.
Oh, yeah, let me.
You guys, mute.
Mute.
Please mute. Background.
Try to mute. Amal, try to mute your microphone. Amal, mute.
Can you please mute yourselves? No one is interested in hearing you.
People, mute your microphone.
Yes, please mute.
Nisima Natalie, mute. Amal, mute. Could you please mute? You are disturbing others. Nansuksa, Jiramia, Azia, I want you to mute your microphone, please. Amal, do you have something to say?
I wasn't.
But your microphone is on. Nansukusa microphone is on. The echo that comes from you is disturbing. Okay, I think it's time up. Okay. I hope everyone has done the right thing. Okay. Can we share now? Put your hand and tell us. This is our table here. What do you have? Nansamba. What do you have in column and in row 2? Nansamba Mira.
I have printer.
You have? You have a printer. Yes. And under which category?
Output.
Output. And row number 3.
Monitor.
Oh, okay. Monitor. What have you found out?
So I have speakers that are outputs.
Speakers are output. What else? Agaba?
I have that keyboard.
You have the keyboard as what?
Input.
Input. Okay, so together for output, monitors for output, speakers for output, and then base units.
Processing.
What do you think a base unit is for?
You think it's an input? Input.
Okay, when you talk, this base unit is a box on the outside, and inside contains some components. Those components, what do you think they do? Because when I look at the ones outside, there's something missing. A mouse input, a keyboard, printer's output, but there is one category we don't see here, or 2. Which one is that? Or which ones are those?
Storage.
You.
We don't have storage. What else?
Processing device.
We don't have processing. Yeah, so CPU is processing. Now you'll find that the hard disk, I have one here, which is external and can be referred to as a peripheral or auxiliary. And we'll also have those ones stored inside. Usually we have what we call hard disk drive inside the computer, where we store our programs and then the files that we create using the computer, they are inside. So storage is also inside. If we had a flash memory, or would say it is, a storage outside. And then all the processing device components of the computer are stored inside the system unit, okay? And some of the storage ones, and then processing. So we don't see those ones. And so what we can say, the best unit is basically for processing, because the most gadgets that are inside there are for processing. The hard disk stored inside is also referred to as secondary storage or external storage. You can remove it from the computer and connect it from the outside, but you cannot remove the CPU from the system. You cannot remove the motherboard from the system. So basically, the base unit stores those processing components of the computer. So now, we are going to look at the categories again, but we have talked about those so much. Let us look at them, and people try to mention some of those. You write them down. Some of the devices found in these components. So categorized according to their functions or operations. Those are the hardware. And the categories you mentioned, them have input, we have processing, output, storage, and communication. So let us give at least 3 or 4, or as many as you can, in each of the categories. Please write them down, and then we shall share those. Try to write them down and then share those. Can you use this picture here? Can use this picture here to some of those belonging to some of the categories, and can also add more if some of those are missing here, okay? Can we do that? Get your paper. You look at the categories. The first one is input, then processing, then output, storage, and then communication. And use this figure here to find those ones belonging to which categories. And if you have those ones that are missing here, you add them all there, okay? Let us do that in about 5 minutes. Let us do it in about 5 minutes. We have 15 minutes left to the end of the lesson. So let us do it fast, okay?
External hard disk.
Yo.
You have 2 minutes left.
Excuse me, teacher, my connection has been on and off. What are we doing?
Oh. Okay, so we are looking at the categories of hardware.
No, like that one I had already done, like on this exercise.
The one we put on the table? Are you talking about the one?
I think I finished that one.
Okay, now we have all those categories, and I
finished the one on the table.
Okay, now we have another one. Did you see the picture on the screen?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so I want you to identify these devices and put them in the right input, process, output, storage, and communication. I want to put at least three devices under input, 3 under processing, 3 under output, then 3 under storage, and probably 3 under communication. And I said you can write more. You can give us more than 3 if you have, or you know some others that's not listed here. You can give us more than 3, but at least give us 3 under each of the categories we have on the screen. So I'll share with you the categories. As said, this is what I'm talking about. We have input, then we have processing, we have output, storage, and communication. Okay. So when you are done, for those ones who started already, time is up. Can we have somebody? I see someone's hand. Namichu Amina, do you have something to say? Okay, Agaba. Oh, down.
I was going to say that the digital camera was in storage.
The video?
I was going to say that the digital camera is among the storage ones.
Is among the
storage one.
Storage? I don't hear you well. Is it Shifa talking?
No, it's me.
That the digital camera is among what?
Storage.
Storage?
Storage.
You see, when you have a digital camera and you take some shots and you don't have a memory card there, you don't have those pictures that you take. Meaning that a digital camera doesn't store, but it's the memory that you put in the digital camera that stores, okay?
Yes.
All right, so it cannot be under storage.
Excuse me, teacher.
Mm.
Could you please help me with one communication device?
One communication
from
device.
the modem.
What are you doing? What are you using there?
A phone.
A phone. What do you think it is? And what you have? What kind of connection do you have? Internet connection do you have? What device do you use to connect to the internet?
I use data.
You have data on that device. So which device are you using? Still the phone?
Yes.
You are using, okay. But have you heard of games, MiFi,
Teacher, yes, the modem is on. They connect to a laptop to provide the internet connection.
Okay.
Teacher, is router correct?
A router is a communication device, right?
Excuse teacher, you can also use the phone to connect with the laptop.
See this device here. Are you able to see this device here? Yeah, you are able. Look at me and then look at this device. We find this one in computer labs. It's called a switch. It's a communication device. It's kind of a hub that all computers in the computer room connect in order to communicate between each other. So we have many others. We have a router like this one that can give us, like this one we connect to an external line, telephone line that gives us internet. We have so many, but I want you to choose to give us those ones that you know, that are common to you, okay? So someone is asking the difference between Wi-Fi and MiFi. Can someone give us the answer, try something?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
A MiFi is like, it's, should I call it a gadget, or like where you put a SIM card and data is transferred? You cannot put anything on the screen. Whereas Wi-Fi is like you put, Wi-Fi is data plus hotspot. If you're on a phone. Wi-Fi is like, yes, but then I'm like short of what, I don't know which exact one to use.
Okay. A Wi-Fi is a device that uses us.
Like a device, you can touch it. It's touchable. Whereas Wi-Fi is not, you cannot touch it.
Teacher, a Wi-Fi is portable. Why what?
My Wi-Fi.
No, a MiFi is touchable. You can touch it. Whereas Wi-Fi, you cannot touch it.
Wi-Fi is
Wi-Fi is
where the data is put, and then Wi-Fi is like the data being hotspotted so other devices can use it because they don't have the SIM card. The SIM card is inside the Wi-Fi, so that Wi-Fi hotspots the Wi-Fi.
But then if everyone's talking, how do you expect people to listen?
Don't show.
Okay, Wi-Fi is basically a wireless local area network. Yes, it can be connected to the internet or may not be connected. Okay? So this is a device that is staged somewhere, and then all this, the devices that can connect to the Wi-Fi connect through that one. Actually, these devices provide the addresses for the devices automatically, okay?
Yes.
So a MiFi is just like you have a dongle. Do you know dongle? The modems that you use that could only connect to one device.
Yes.
And then a MiFi can connect many devices together. In a way, it also provides some kind of local area network. When we talk of MiFi, we're actually talking about the device that is doing that. Okay? But I want you to find more about it, okay?
Yes.
Someone, Joelia, can you give us some of the items you found for input devices or input operation?
Actually, teacher, I was raising a certain question. I wanted to raise something about this connecting a laptop with data, can't you also use a phone like to connect?
Yeah, to the computer, to the laptop, you use your phone. You can use your phone. What you do what we call tethering or hotspot share. Okay. Yeah, you use. Yeah. Before we used to call it tethering, but these days they call it hotspot. Okay. So you find something like a hotspot on your computer, and then when you activate it, usually it will come with a password, and then your computer, when it's what do you call it? When it is activated, Wi-Fi is activated, then it will be able to read the available networks, and then you provide it with the password, and then to connect through your phone. So you go to set up. Usually you go to set up on your computer. You go to set up, and then from setup you go to networks and internet, and then you go to hotspot and tethering. So hotspot and tethering is around with the active wireless connections will read the network around, and then you choose that one of your phone. Usually it carries the name of the phone, or it carries the name that you gave it to, and then the password can be provided, and then a gadget or gadgets will be connecting through that. It has a maximum number of connections, I think 8 or 7, but you can choose how many connect to your computer. You can choose 2 or 3 as you prefer, okay?
Yes.
So, but going back to the question, oh, it's about time.
Yes, teacher.
I want you people to try more and read more about this, find the different devices for different categories, and then their functions. Do that research on your own. And another thing is that you can download your prototype from NCDC and have it on your computers or your phones, so that you open them, not only for ICT, but for all those other subjects that you do, because it will be very, very expensive to print them out. You have many subjects, and printing out all booklets for all the subjects would be very expensive. But if you have them in soft copy, you can always refer to them. And now that you have completed this part, we are going to go to another part. I want you to go and read through that next part that we're going to look at in this very chapter, so that when we meet next week, have an idea of it. But before we go, I want you to copy that activity and try to answer the questions there. Okay? So you go with this one, work on it this afternoon or before we meet next week, so that when you come back, you have a activity of integration for the first chapter. Remember, in order to answer that question, you must have understood what was in that chapter. If you didn't answer, try to answer that question, okay? To do that activity on your own. It's about what you are doing right now, asking you the gadgets that someone can use to teach a school from when he's in a different location. What gadgets do you think he can use, and how can he maintain those gadgets? All the things you need to know. So when you go through that, you find those answers and be able to give us a good go through that, because still have time to the next week. And we may not go back first chapter when the schools open. We need to cover up the syllabus as fast as we can. So copy this.
Right, teacher.
Right.
Right, teacher.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, people.
Have you copied to the question?
Bye.
Yes, you are finished.
No. What screenshot?
We are finished. Remove.
People take
Bye, Northerners.
skills, people. Take care of skills, people.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
Teacher, you talked about peripheral devices.
Devices, yes.
Yes. Are they mainly hardware?
Bye, Lady Shima.
Yeah, peripheral is hardware.
That they don't have.
So that is what you can touch and connect.
Okay. They don't have software. They don't have the software part.
They have, some of them have, many of them in fact have, okay? Because for them to connect to the computer and then they communicate, there is some software installed on the computer to communicate with the software on the gadgets. They have some software called Peripheral. For example, a printer will have that, and the scanner will have that. It's not an empty something that's just an empty hardware. They have, but usually that software is installed on the computer. We call them the drivers. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
Okay.
What? Tome.